we're going to take a look at LYFT here on the weekly chart. Closed today 1206, up around 62 cents from yesterday's trading session. Good news, holding that $12 level. Bad news, it was only about 6 cents. So good news overall, holding the 12 or closing above the 12, that is. We're above the 9-day EMA. That is good. Now we have to figure out, are we going to gap up and hold that tomorrow, or are we going to gap down? That's going to become our first resistance. So that's going to be remaining to be seen here. And we're going to figure out tomorrow how we're going to close this candle in here. So far, pretty decent green candle on a low of 1061 and a high of 1209 in here. So not bad. $2 high low in here for 1 week for a $12 stock. So we'll take that any day. That is not bad at all. Now, if we are gapping above and holding that $12 mark, well, then this upper trend line here on the weekly chart, this is what we're going to be more worried about than anything, because this is going to tell us a lot, because we have earnings coming up in the next 3 weeks. So if we kind of bang our head up here, by tomorrow, maybe the next weekly candle we kind of print, we start out below this, but then we kind of breach and hold halfway through the week. Then we know, okay, we're set up for a little bit of a pop here into earnings, and we could be heading to this 1420s area sooner than we think. So that is going to be key in here, this upper trend line that we have drawn right here. Now, if we are going to be below this $12 mark, obviously that becomes our first resistance. Support wise, really nothing. If you I mean, you can say the 1060, but really down here is kind of what we're more worried about. It's going to be that 986 mark. That's because, as you can see back here last year, just tons and tons of touch points there as a big support. And you can see that was a support from December all the way to July. So July to December of 24, just huge, I'm sorry, of 23, just a huge support in here. So that is more or less what we care about, not really the 1060s at all, but still looks like you have a little bit of footing in here. So it could get saved down in that area. We're going to dig in deeper here to the daily chart. You can see kind of what happened today. Today was the biggest green day of the week. Obviously, in here, you had a open of 1145, high of 1209, low 11.4, and we closed at 1206 in here. And as you can see, it's above that $12 level. And then this upper trend line is kind of meshing up nicely with our 200 SMA in here. So that is good. So all thing is kind of, everything's kind of pointing towards, hey, this is going to be an area of resistance for us, and this is going to be key. We can breach and then hold, then we're good for our earnings little pop into 1420s, like we said before. But if not, if we reject it and respect it, then we're heading back down here below the 12s, and then we're looking for another run as we get closer into earnings. Our 30-minute chart, what we're going to look at in here, see exactly what happened. You can see in after hours, we're popping up here. We are above that 1220 mark. We're up here right around those 1240. So that is good in here. Good news. It looks like those 12s will hold. Depends on how much we're going to gap up in here tomorrow. So that's going to be the key. How high are we going to be up here as we get closer and closer to this 1280 mark, this upper trend line? That is going to be something that we need to watch for in here. And speaking of the 1240s, this red doji right here, this was rejected right here for the 1240s. You can see if you go back here to March. So you had multiple touch points that the 1240s rejected. So we have to be careful as we open up. If we're going to open up right at the 1240 mark, gap up, then it looks like that might be a spot for us to kind of hiccup before we get to these 1280s in here. So kind of keep that in mind as we're looking at LYFT. So we go back to the weekly chart again. All in all, what we're looking at in here, a hold of this 9-day EMA, a hold of the 12. We're going to be looking at this upper trend line here at the 1280s first. If everything holds of the 12s, and then we're going to be looking at this 1422 area here. Everything gets rejected. We breach down below the 12s, 1060 little footing. Really, we care more about this 986 level down here for our supports. IV rank in here is at 49, 20 cent expected move by tomorrow, 60-cent expected move by next Friday. Earnings expiration cycle right around a $2 expected move, go all the way out to May expiration, right around a $2 expected move as well. So some good juice in here. Low risk, low reward plays in here just because it's such a cheap stock. So you can get directional if you want. You can go debit, credit, whatever you want to do in here. Really nice volume all the way around. So you can kind of do whatever you want in here as we're looking into a little earnings pop and a confirmation of this upper trend line hold and our breach and hold. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.